Africa is at a major development juncture. Last year, the international community adopted the Sustainable Development Goals. For Africa, the SDG financing needs are enormous, estimated at 614 to 638 billion US dollars per year. How can Africa finance the SDGs and at the same time maintain debt sustainability? This is one of the main questions of this year's UNCTAD Economic Development in Africa report titled Debt Dynamics and Development Finance in Africa. What we know is that the SDGs are unlikely to be covered by official development assistance and external debt alone. Hence, the role of domestic debt has gained prominence as a development finance modality. It also calls for the use of complementary modalities of finance and the curtailing of illicit financial flows. Increasing debt also highlights the importance of maintaining debt sustainability and avoiding the possibility of debt distress.
External debt is on the rise in several African countries. Its composition and the terms and conditions are also changing. In fact, from 2006 to 2009, GDP grew faster than external debt in the majority of African countries. However, from 2011 to 2013, this situation changed considerably, with external debt growing faster than GDP in most countries. Domestic debt in Africa is gradually rising and increasingly consists of marketable debt. Domestic capital markets have been deepening as international investor interest has grown, but this is also associated with new risks as the range of creditors and debt instruments continues to expand. Africa's development is more than ever a balancing act. This entails a redoubling of effort to harness potential and innovative sources of finance. Public-private partnerships, or PPPs, are on the rise and have been used for infrastructure financing, especially in telecoms and energy sectors. But PPPs are often treated by governments as off-budget transactions known as contingent liabilities. This warrants caution from a debt management perspective. Without adequate legal and policy frameworks, it is difficult to optimize the use of PPPs for development while minimizing the pitfalls of their failure. Illicit financial flows have deprived Africa of important resources for development finance. Illicit financial flows are high and have been increasing over time in Africa. From 1970 to 2008, illicit financial flows out of Africa are estimated to be equivalent to the overseas development assistance received during the same period. In 2008, a third of this would have been enough to pay for the continent's external debt. Curtailing illicit financial flows could become a source of development finance, provided efforts to tackle them at the national and international levels are sustained. This entails, for example, international cooperation in tax matters and multilateral support in strengthening Africa's institutional capacities to deal with such flows.
Achieving Africa's development goals and aspirations should be realized without generating future debt problems. This requires a prudent strategy for future borrowing tailored to country-specific circumstances, institutional capacity, and its vulnerability to shocks. UNCTAD's experience can support African countries in developing their capacities to harness the potential of debt and complementary modalities without compromising debt sustainability. The UNCTAD Secretary General, Mokiza Katui, notes that we can help strengthening institutional capacities for monitoring and managing debt so that countries can manage their debt levels in a more sustainable manner. Find out more on the Economic Development in Africa Report 2016 on Debt Dynamics and Development Finance in Africa on www.unctad.org/Africa.